Hi everybody, Froggy here. Today I'm going to show you how to replace the upper and the lower radiator hoses on a C5 Corvette. The long one is the upper and the short one is the lower. These days everything is custom curved to fit particular cars. Back in the old days they used to be able to just buy it off of a reel at your local auto parts store. Anyway, we're going to start off with removing the air bridge. There's your air bridge. And we're going to remove the upper radiator hose support. That's the upper radiator hose support. That long plastic piece that runs crossways. There's two 8mm hose clamp type fittings, one there and one there. And then if you undo this little wire bundle guide, you can lift the whole air bridge off, and then you can get at this other connection, which is electrical connection to the MAF. Be careful of the wires inside the MAF. If you break any of them, you'll be buying a new MAF. Okay, we got 4 screws there. I think they were 10mm. Hold on. Yep, 10mm. 2 there and 2 on the other side, and your upper radiator support comes off. Now before you go doing any hoses, you got to drain some coolant. I'm going to show you the way I like to do it. I jack up the front of the car, and that keeps most of the coolant in the block, and so it doesn't drain out, because I'm not changing coolant today. I'm just changing 2 hoses. If I was changing coolant, then I'd probably want to jack up the back of the car and get more coolant out. When you're raising a car up, like I've got mine raised up in the front, keep an eye on where your hood's going. I've got about 2 or 3 inches clearance there. If the door, it's good, automatic door, open or close, or wife comes home, hits the button, and starts going down, you don't want to rip your roof or rip your hood off. The other thing is put some jack stands underneath there if you're going to put your body underneath there. Be safe. These are special hose clamp pliers for the spring type hose clamps. You see they've got a little cup with some grooves in it, so that can go onto your spring type clamp and not slip off. You can use regular pliers too, but these are a lot nicer, under $10 probably at your auto parts store. Here's the pliers in action. You just squeeze on them and they click, and then they hold their position. See, it's got a ratchet mechanism here, so it holds its position, and then you can just take it without any tension on it and just move it off. Now this system's already been drained. I was doing another job on it yesterday, so don't forget to drain your coolant. I'm going to give you a little reminder, get under there and show you how. Now that I've got the clamp out of position, I squeeze it again, release that latch, and there it is. It's off like that. Just pull on this. Now these hoses are kind of soft and old, that's why I'm replacing them. That's one off. I like to lay the old hose next to the new hose. As you can see, that's going to be a pretty close fit. Pretty good job. The old one is marked radiator top. The new one's not marked, but I'm going to write on it anyway, just for future reference. There we go. Okay. Now, one other thing I want to show you. This old hose, when they get kind of soft like that, soft at the end, even though they're not split or cracked, or they look pretty good. When they're getting soft, they're kind of due to be replaced. See how nice and hard and firm that one is? That one's soft. So this is a preventative maintenance thing. It wasn't really leaking, but I'm putting some new ones on. The car's got about 50,000 miles. I've transferred the clamps to the same orientation as the old one, so when I put it back, I'm not going to have this on the wrong side where I have to get my my pliers that are special pliers. Same thing on this one here. Going on, you don't have to put any sealant or anything on these fittings. Maybe a little tiny bit of silicone, or even just wet it with some coolant, and it should go right on. Back in the old days we used to put sealant around these, but the hoses are better now and the fittings are better now. Okay, we got our hose in place, both ends. We're just going to move our clamp back. There's a little lip here. You want to get it on the other side of the lip, obviously. You can feel it. You can feel it bulge there. So get your clamp on the other side. Make sure the clamp is nice and squared off, circular around there. It's not cocked like that. And make sure it clears the lip. Okay, same thing on this side. Make sure you're past the lip. Lip's right about there. And it's not cocked, that it's squared off. Okay, I know this is out of order, but I told you that was going to happen. And I'm gonna put a notation at the beginning to drain some coolant before you start taking the hoses off. But anyway, this is where you drain the coolant. It's on the passenger side of the car. If you look here, there's a pin, and the pin is what locates the passenger side of the radiator onto this metal piece which is attached to the frame. So it's right 2 inches away from the pin. Just be careful, the stock one has a plastic piece that you turn like a quarter to a half a turn. This one is more of a standard drain. Anyway, there's your drain. Drain out enough coolant so that you don't spill it off when you move. This is going to be the lowest hose right here, this one that I'm going to take off now. So the upper hose, not too much coolant will spill out anyway, but this lower hose would let a lot out. There we go. We let some coolant out. There's still a little bit left. Okay, I've got both ends loose, and I'm going to take it out the top side. It has a little plastic sleeve on it to protect the hose rubber from getting chafed if it was bouncing around, rubbing up against some part of the chassis or suspension or something. So I'm going to take this over to my new one, and I'm going to put these clamps on in the same orientation, and I'm going to put the new one on. Okay, here's my old one, my new one. I've got them oriented. The new one looks a little bit shorter, but I don't know, I think it'll probably work. And here's that plastic sleeve that protects the hose. So now I'm going to transfer this, and this to the new one. Okay, we've got our other hose on there. Part that goes to the thermostat, the other part goes to the radiator. I'm going to put some coolant back in. I suggest distilled water, 50-50 antifreeze, or maybe 20-80 with 20% being antifreeze if you want a little better cooling, but that is only if you're not subject to freezing temps. If you're subject to freezing temps and you go 50-50, you can put a little water wetter in if you want, cool a little better. Okay, let's put some coolant in. Froggy back, I hope you can hear me over the sound of the motor. I filled it up with coolant. As I said before, I'm using about 25% coolant and the rest distilled water. And check for leaks, no leaks anywhere. What you want to do is called burping the car. When you burp the car, you want to rev the engine up to about, bye sweetie, you want to rev the engine up to about use 2,500 RPM and hold it there for a few minutes. And that gets the water pump really spinning fast and forces water throughout the cooling system fast. And what that does is get rid of air, gets rid of bubbles. So you want to check your reservoir level. I would check it every day you drive the car for quite a few days until it settles into its correct level. You can top it off. It may take you 2 or 3 or even 4 hot-cold cycles. A hot-cold cycle is the engine gets all the way warmed up, cools all the way down overnight, run it the next day, about 3 or 4 days. I'm going to take it out for a spin now, get the RPMs up to 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, make sure I'm getting really good circulation. Check it again for leaks, and then I'm going to call it a day. Froggy out. If you like this do-it-yourself, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe. Have a great day.